Hello. My name is Miriam Bergson. I'm a junior at Niles North High School. Niles North, being an extremely diverse school, has offered me opportunities that one can only dream of. At Niles North, I get to see what the real world looks like, and I see what it means to coexist. But I've also seen the pain that my peers face daily. This past year, I've been involved with our school club, SOAR, Students Organize Against Racism. By being in this club, I have come to realize my white privilege and recognize the hate and fear that minorities have to face day in and day out. Sure, being a Jewish woman, I still worry about my safety and my rights, but as a white person, I have been able to live a life without discrimination. When I walk into a public space, I do not worry about the assumptions people may make because of how I look, because of the color of my skin. But many Americans have had to worry about this for a very long time. And through the election, their pain and distress is only heightened. Our now elected president speaks of racist, xenophobic, Islamophobic, and sexist rhetoric with every sentence he speaks. And I see the effects of this rhetoric every day in school. On November 9th, the day after the election, there was a feeling of mourning throughout the halls. The first people I saw that day were my two very good friends, a black woman and a gay Middle Eastern man. They were sobbing and holding on to each other with fear and worry for their future. So many tears were shed that day, and they will continue to be shed as the President of the United States stirs up his bitter words. He does not realize what his hate can do. His hate can make us feel small and fearful, but his hate can also unify us and make us strong. Look at where we are right now. We are bonded together as a community to say no to this banter. We, along with millions of others, will stand together to fight against the fearful fate of our country. Muslim, black, immigrant, Latinx, white, Jewish, gay, straight, man, woman. We must all respect each other and unify to rise. We will rise against his hate, and we will come out stronger than ever before.
Imam Manjira, the Muslim Community Center Imam. We have two microphones because it's also getting projected upstairs with the overflow of guests.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good. So, as we see that it's all packed here, and upstairs there's like a few hundred more people upstairs as well. So who knows, maybe 500 people, 1,000 people, and alternative facts is 1.5 million. Let's get started because we don't want to keep people waiting upstairs. So I'm going to share with you all this prayer. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. Oh God, give us the goodness of this world and give us the goodness of the hereafter. Dear causer of the universe, in your name we want to create a cohesive and peaceful America with care, kindness, and dignity to every one of the 325 million of us. Dear God, guide us to talk, act, and believe that we are all one family of humanity. Dear God, as we undertake the mission of building cohesive societies where no one has to live in apprehension or fear of the other, we are painfully aware of the ignorance, fear, mistrust, and ill will that divides us. Help us open our hearts and minds towards receiving each other. Dear God, guide us to become conflict mitigators and goodwill nurturers. Dear God, protect our men and women in different uniforms, committed to our safety and well-being. Dear God, help us to think, speak, and act peacefully every moment of the day. Dear God, guide us to value and practice the principles of liberty and justice for all of the creation. Dear God, give us your infinite wisdom and give us the courage to do the right thing every moment of the day. Help us to learn to respect the others and respect every one of us, and help us accept the uniqueness you gave to each one of us. May this trend catch on, and may we treat all of us, every one of us, as fellow human beings without any discrimination. Ameen.
Well, I've always said the test of a true friend is someone who comes out to the airport for you. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm Leslie Williams. I'm the co-chair of the Chicago Network Against Islamophobia, along with Carol Muskin, who's doing the signs over in the corner, and this is an initiative of Jewish Voice for Peace. Jewish Voice for Peace and Open Communities were the two organizations that originally partnered with the Muslim Education Center here to put this program on. When we planned this a few months ago, we thought this was going to be a simple little get-together, that we would have some cookies and have hot chocolate and stroll around the neighborhood. But obviously, this is a much more urgent time, and a time when we really must resist together. Looking around this room, as Dilnaz said, we're different religions, we're different races, we have LGBTQ people here, we have all sorts of people here, people of all sorts of different backgrounds and socioeconomic levels. We may not agree on everything, we don't necessarily have the same political beliefs, but we believe in our democracy. We believe that no law should ever be passed that discriminates against people on the basis of their race or their religion or their national origin. We believe in government transparency, and we believe that this is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So a couple of things that we're going to ask you to do today. We will be shortly leaving and walking around Morton Grove as a community, and we want you to take this time to try and get to know some people that you don't know. So if you do the walk with us, try to have a conversation with at least 3 other people and find out what brought them here, what makes this cause so important to them, and also what actions you're going to take in the future. You'll also see that around the room I have a couple of flyers posted on the wall with the addresses of the mayors of our local communities, including Chicago, but also Skokie, Niles, and Lincolnwood. And we're encouraging you, whatever community you live in, contact your mayor or your village president and ask them to support a sanctuary ordinance. Evanston has already done that, but all the other surrounding communities have not, and we really think that if all of our communities demand a sanctuary ordinance, it'll make it much more likely that it'll happen. We also have the contact for Governor Rauner. We can suggest that Illinois become a sanctuary state. Also, Governor Rauner last year was one of the governors who really started this push against Syrian resettlement. So we're asking you to ask Governor Rauner to walk back that statement and to express his moral support for the settlement of Syrian refugees and all refugees. So please take time to do that. Finally, there's someone who I think we all need to thank, and that's Judge Ann Donnelly from Brooklyn. The contact sheets have the phone number for her office, so I think she's going to be getting a lot of pressure for her very courageous decision, so I think it'll really help if we all call her and tell her thank you for what she did, for standing up for us. Other things, let's see if there's anything I'm forgetting. As Mr. Resnick mentioned, there will be another protest at the airport tonight, so if you can go out to the airport, the international terminal at 6 o'clock, that would be great. Also, make sure that someplace you get your email on one of our sign-up sheets. We have sign-up sheets on a lot of the different tables. We want to stay in contact with everyone to keep this resistance going, to keep this action going, so make sure you've left us your contact information. And finally, we realize not everybody may be able to stick around for the entire program, but there are a couple of things that you can do. We have some wonderful signs from JVP that say, "Stop profiling Muslims," and we would love it if you would take some of these and take them around to local businesses, ask them to put them in the windows, put them in your windows, ask your neighbors to put them in the windows. There are some additional signs over at the JVP table over to your left, my right. We had a lot more signs that said "Stop profiling Muslims" and "Refugees welcome," and we used them all up last night at O'Hare. But also, if you would like more signs, you can contact the JVP office. The email is simply info@jvpchicago, so I hope you will do that as well. I think that's enough of my talking right now. I'm going to introduce Nasia Alam, who is from Asian Americans Advancing Justice.
Assalamu alaikum. There's about 700 people upstairs, so I'm going to keep this really quick. My name is Nashia. I'm actually a community member here. I grew up going to Sunday school here. This is really amazing to see this many people here, but I'm here on behalf of Asian Americans Advancing Justice Chicago. And I'm here because as we fight for change on a federal level, we're also demanding intervention on a local level as well. So our organization, along with many other organizations in Chicago, pushed through a welcoming city ordinance in Chicago City Hall in order to ensure that this city has sanctuary city status. Chicago has sanctuary city status. And this is a clear policy that states that the Chicago Police Department will not detain individuals for immigration violations. We think that this is really important because we don't want our police officers to be immigration enforcement agents, and we don't want our communities to fear calling the police in emergency situations because they fear that they may be detained and deported. So what this policy does is end the collaboration between the police and immigration officials. And although the Welcoming City Ordinance is a victory, we're still fighting for changes to be made on this policy. We're fighting for the exceptions to this policy to be removed. The exceptions further paint immigrants as criminals. And so alongside our many Latino and Black community organizational partners, we're pushing for the gang database to be removed, as well as the other exceptions, because it inaccurately categorizes people as threats, much like the no-fly list that you all know of, except it's based on it might be based on tattoos or the color of the clothing that they wear. So we think that all immigrants should have rights to access these services, and we're committed to fighting for this. So President Trump earlier said that he was considering taking away funding from sanctuary cities. And so he even cited Chicago as a city that he might take away funding from. But Chicago officials stated that they're not going to back down. We're going to... If the President of the United States is putting in this much effort to oppose sanctuary cities, we're clearly doing something right. We're asking you all to be calling your local officials, our local officials, to extend this policy statewide and to make sure that Morton Grove, Skokie, all of these cities become sanctuary cities as well. So we're committed to fighting for decriminalization of all immigrants as a whole as we fight for change locally and federally and globally as well. Thank you.